When I woke up the morning of September 11th, 2001, my day started normal like it always does. I think I started making Gwen's breakfast or something like that. She was only 3 at the time. And I remember I would always turn the news on during the day because she had a TV in her room at the time. She would probably watch something in the morning while I was getting breakfast ready or something. And I had the big TV in the living room on to the news. And I was going back and forth talking to her, making sure she was okay while I was cooking or something like that. And I'd keep getting little glimpses of the news, and I kept thinking, wow, this is crazy. What the hell is going on? Like, I kept seeing all these reports of planes hitting buildings, or the first one hitting the building, I think. Or the second one may have just hit, or I think I saw the footage of it live, and then all of a sudden they're like, yes, that's the second, but, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I kept thinking, where the hell is this? I'm like, those are some big buildings. I said, they kind of look like the Twin Towers. And, eventually, as it was just chaotic that morning. The news, I mean, nobody, you can't plan for this. I'm sure there are little contingencies and stuff, but the media went out there and it just started tackling it. And so at some points, I think they failed to mention it was New York or something like that. This was early in the morning. This is probably just as it was about, happening. I think the first one had crashed. They hadn't determined that it was an attack. They thought it was just an accident at first or something like that. And then, of course, when I finally found out it was New York, I was like, holy shit. Like, what is going on? Like, so I started, I planted myself there. I got Gwen her breakfast, and I said, and she wanted to watch her shows or something. And I was just like, no, we need to watch this. We need to figure out what's going on. Because at that time, you really had no idea. Was this small scale? Was this large scale? Was this going to start affecting, like, Boston? Because, we only lived about 45 minutes south of Boston, maybe an hour if traffic's really bad. And so I remember I ended up calling to work to see if we were even going to be open. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe we did. I don't think we opened that day. We opened the next day, but obviously things had to get back to normal. The sooner the better. And so that was, I think, on everybody's mind around where I was, like, being closer to Boston. Like, when I worked in Avon, that's only about half an hour at most to Boston, I think. Or to get to the, parts of Boston. And, I really didn't expect anything else, but as the days went on, you did start hearing, anthrax, and this, that, and the other, and, like, things just got a little wacky. So I remember that time very clearly, and just, like, I remember the American flags coming out, like, it was nobody's business. And I wasn't about to buy into that, but obviously it was an insane thing. Probably the most insane thing that will ever happen in my lifetime. Hopefully nothing crazier happens in my lifetime. At least here in the United States like that. Like I don't want to ever see nuclear war. I couldn't begin to fathom that happening. Like, where would you go? Where would be safe? Imagine middle America. You're going to probably go somewhere like that. Be the safest spot. Or at least for here in the United States. But as the days, the weeks, the months, the years wore on after 9/11, like, obviously it drew a majority of the country together for all the wrong reasons. Like, why don't we come together to help solve, like, world hunger? We have to come together when we're under attack. Like, that's why I didn't run out and get an American flag. Not that I'm not a patriotic or whatever, but I didn't feel very patriotic then. Like, I felt like people, I don't know how to explain it exactly. Okay. So that first initial year passes. A few more years pass. And then these interesting little details, these videos start coming out. You've probably seen Loose Change if you're anything like me. I don't want to say I'm an extreme conspiracy theorist. I do believe that, like, I don't think we are given all the information a lot of the time. And the more and more you read, if you take the time and read credible sources, I can't honestly give you somebody who I could say 100% I deserve credibility. But just when you talk, or not when you talk to, I have talked to some people, but, like, things that happened on that day couldn't have happened the way that we were told that they happened. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm not going to dig any deeper. I'm not going to go crazy on you here. However, I do believe that a lot of information that we were given on that day was fabricated. And I don't know why. But if you go to the original, go to local news clippings of that day. Don't even go to conspiracy theorists, videos or sites like that. And listen to what people are saying. A lot of people will say that they were not airliners. They were not marked planes. They were gray and silver planes. Explosions that were heard before, during, after all three hits and stuff like that. It's just all this stuff coming together, this elaborate thing. And I know it sounds crazy because the amount of work to go in to fake something like that has got to be staggering. I couldn't begin to imagine, because you'd have to have a very small group of people doing this for a very specific reason, to achieve a certain goal. You know what I mean? And it couldn't get out beyond a certain amount of people, because if it did, then, society as we know it here in the United States would have gone crazy. I would imagine, if we found out, let's say our own government was responsible, or those planes never took off, or all the names of those people, what if none of those are real people? What if... I know, here I go, getting a little nutty. I know, just give me a minute here. Bear with me. What if that whole thing, every family member you saw was an actor? I hear there are groups of actors that go and show up to scenes like this and stage things like this. I could be crazy. I mean, that does sound insane even to me, and I believe a lot of crazy things. But if you even give it a 10% chance of probability, it's not that hard to have gotten 100 actors or government officials or somebody who's on the payroll that keeps quiet about it to come out and be like, my daughter was in daycare here that day, or da-da-da-da. Well, those people, I guess you can't fabricate. However, the planes people, I believe you can. I don't know. Okay, back to my point, though. I don't know what I think about it entirely. I don't want to say it's one of the worst tragedies, because I don't know to what extent, is real and what's fake. I feel like there is a lot of it that isn't straightforward. I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but this is one of those things where, they can't do shit like this anymore, because everyone's got a camera in their pocket and a small computer to upload it immediately to share it with the world. If you tried to pull that today, if you tried to pull 9/11 today, let's say it was a complete sham, the way it went down was a complete lie, and you had all these on the streets recording that and posting it, I mean, you'd probably get the most insane videos right now. Could you imagine that? If tomorrow they decided to do that again. And that's why I kind of think where net neutrality kind of comes in, that whole, what's going on with that. They need to, if they ever want to do something like that again. Okay, I'm making assumptions here, and you're getting too much of my opinion of the matter that I didn't really want to share, because it makes me sound crazy. You couldn't do it now, so you need to take this away from the people. You gave them this so you could track them and trace them, and look at their lives and every picture they take, and da-da-da-da, and know where they live and what bank they use and all their passwords, and pictures of their family members and addresses and phone numbers of everyone they know. They thought, that's a great idea. And then I think they failed to realize that you try to pull something in public now, they're going to get every angle of it out of windows, people on the street, people above, below, behind, you know what I mean? I don't think if 9/11 was indeed a hoax or a staged thing, or I don't know what to say. I don't know what to call it myself. If it was, you couldn't get away with that today. There'd be so many videos and so many pictures, and it would be all over the place, that if anybody planned that, screwed up even the littlest bit, it'd be too easy to pick up. As it was, I think we were already beyond that point, and I feel like we were just spoon-fed a mountain of lies. For what ends? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna drop the 9/11 talk. It's how I feel. I don't think it's as straightforward as we were told. That's all I'm saying. I believe a lot more than that, but I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say, I think that we were responsible for it, or that the people on the planes weren't really there, or that they weren't airliners to begin with. But it's fun. I mean, it's a terrible thing that happened. Do you want me to say it? I said it. It's a terrible, awful thing that happened. If it happened to the degree, either way, so many lives that were lost. It's sad. It's very, very sad. But I'd love to know the true story. Like, I do. A lot of things. But, I mean, this is the one thing that the more I read about it, the more I'm convinced that it wasn't straightforward. JFK, that may have been as it played out. I don't think so. Alien autopsy? Who knows? Area 51, rather. All right. Before I drive the rest of my remaining viewers away, I will say goodnight to you all. Thank you for coming back for the second video tonight, and thank you for always coming back. I have a lot more to say about this, and eventually we'll get around to it. But this is a nice little frosting on the cake. Am I crazy? Probably. But that's how I feel. You can feel your way around life, but you have to trust your gut. Your gut. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi military movie or something. I don't know. All right. Have a great night, guys. Have a great Tuesday tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Okay. See you on down the road to 40.